Good morning, everyone. I hope you all had a good Super Bowl weekend if you are football fans. So, this week, it's week 3, we're getting deeper into understanding what discourse communities are and how the different pieces of rhetorical analysis fit into that. So, good work posting the definitions online last week. These are going to be key in understanding any type of writing assignment, not just writing assignments in this class, but if you're asked to write a case study for your major at some point, you will want to understand your purpose, who the audience is, what the genre is, which would be a case study, all those different elements that make up rhetorical analysis make your writing strong because it has more meaning for your audience. So before we move on to some more explanation of what a discourse community is, I wanted to focus on genre and context. There were a few instances where I felt like we needed to spend some more time on that. And if we were in a classroom together, we would normally spend a day or two talking about each. So some of you said genre was like horror, science fiction, romance, etc. Those are subsets of types of genres because you can have a romance novel, a horror novel, but the type of written document it is a novel. So a genre is the written document you're looking at. Some other examples of genre are syllabus, which we use, academic text. This is a printout of Swales, which you are reading just pages 471 to 473. Collection of poetry is a written genre. So genre is the type of text. And you can give genres different, genres take their names based on what the audience for them is. And now context. What is context? We had a few different explanations, but what you should really think about when you're trying to identify context is the information surrounding the piece of writing. So the dictionary definition of context, when you're looking at context clues, if you've ever heard someone say that when helping you define something, context clues are the words surrounding a word that help you define them. So you may have a word like learning objectives, and you're not sure what it means, but the sentence may be something like, in this class you will understand 4 different types of learning objectives that help you be successful. So you can at least have some sort of idea that learning objectives are goals you have. So when you're looking more specifically at a type of written document, the context is very important because it's that additional information surrounding the document. It wasn't created in a vacuum. The author wrote it for some sort of reason, and it was created during a certain time period. So if you're looking at a manifesto, you'll look at the different historical events surrounding the publication of the manifesto. So hopefully that explains a little more about context and genre. I'm asking you for homework to identify a discourse community that you belong to, and identifying 6 characteristics discussed in pages 471 to 473. So understanding the types of written documents, the genres, and the context for your discourse community is important when identifying these factors. So if we look at the class as a discourse community, we can identify many different factors that make it one. So for the rest of this video, I'm going to go over some key components of our class that make it a discourse community. So if we pull out the Swales article and we look at the main points that make up a discourse community, which, by the way, you can read the entire article, but it's a very dense academic text, which can be summarized pretty simply with those 6 characteristics, but it can give you some more information and just challenge you if you try to read the full text. So the first element of a discourse community is agreed set of common public goals. For our class, those are the learning outcomes. We have 4 main things that you should feel comfortable with explaining how you can do by the end of our time together. And they're common public goals because they are public within the university. They're a part of the larger university structure and are meant to help you be successful in the rest of your classes. Next, we have mechanisms of intercommunication. So that's these videos, emails, the discussion forum. If we've had a phone call together, it's a phone call. Another way we communicate is if you drop by office hours, which some of you are going to be doing soon, which is fantastic. Next, we have number 3, which is the participatory mechanisms are the main way to give feedback. And this is true because I'm giving you feedback on your writing, you're giving each other feedback on writing, and we're negotiating how you achieve the goals together. So another great example of this feedback is the peer review. And that list will be posted on Thursday. I'll have your groups, and I'll also post everyone's contact information within those groups. Number 4 is a discourse community possesses more than one genre to communicate their aims. So that's why genre is so important to understand, because we use many different genres for this class. The different genres your writing assignments are in is a group of different types that you have to write to communicate. Our emails are a type of genre. The syllabus, like I said earlier, is a genre. Every way we communicate via writing is a genre. And now, what else do we have? A discourse community has acquired some specific lexis. So if you know the term lexis already, that's great. But you can actually use those context clues that I explained earlier to try and figure out the definition before looking it up. So in addition to genres, a discourse community has acquired some specific lexis. You may have heard lexicon as a type of speech communication. So if you actually look up lexis, it's stock of language. So we have created a specific lexis to communicate. We have the concepts about rhetorical analysis that we use to talk about writing, and we have the terms that fall under discourse community that we use to talk about writing. So in every discourse community, there's a specific way to communicate. If you want to use an outside example, you can look at, we can use the Super Bowl as an example. Different NFL teams communicate in very specific ways. And this could be something like the types of plays they have, to the way they communicate their goals within the team. So that's the specific Lexis. And then a discourse community has a threshold level of membership. So for us, our threshold level is the 15 of us together for the semester. And if you've read Eric Borg before watching this video, you'll know that number 6 is contested. Discourse communities are an ongoing field of study. So there's always going to be some point of argument and further study into the different features of a discourse community. So many researchers question, is there a threshold level? What is a certain level of participation you can have to be within a discourse community? But some of the biggest takeaways should be that discourse communities have common goals and common means of communication. So for homework, after you do this reading, you're identifying a discourse community you belong to. Your example may not be perfect, but write about the different ways that your community fits into these 6 characteristics. You may think that you don't belong to any communities. I've heard this before in classes because students say they're so busy with school, so they don't have any other communities to belong to. But take some time before you start writing about these 6 characteristics to free write different things you do that could be part of a community. Like, for example, if you go to a church, is there some sort of community that you could identify there? If you participate in some sort of sport, if you have children that go to school, what sort of communities function within that? Just take some time to identify different things you belong to before saying that you don't belong to a discourse community. So thank you for watching the video again this week. By Thursday, I will have your peer review groups posted, and I'll also have some more information posted about the first assignment, the literacy narrative. In the announcement that comes with this video, I have some additional links for you to look at examples. But again, if you have questions or concerns, please send me an email and we will work things out. All right, have a great day.